All right, the next part of the project is to cut out your semicircle, cut out your mortise, and cut out your dado. To start, you're going to cut out your semicircles. To do that, what you're going to do, you're going to start here, you're going to bring this over, you're going to loosen this back knob, you're going to pick this up, you're going to drop it down onto the actual leg of the footstool. You're going to pick it up about 1/8 of an inch. Now that's 1/8 of an inch to the bottom of these bearings. You're going to tighten this up. Why do we want to do that? For the main reason that if I'm trying to push my hand through here, if I have this guard adjusted properly, you're not going to get cut. If it's adjusted incorrectly, you are going to get cut. So you want to open this. If you were like this, your hands could go underneath the blade. Where, if you have it adjusted properly, you open this up, you tighten this down, and now you're ready to start the machine. You're going to start with your relief cuts. What that's going to do is relieve the pressure on the blade as it cuts around a tight radius so that it doesn't bend and snap the blade. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to start it with my relief cut. You do not want to cut the pencil line. You want to stay off of the pencil line. So when you look at that, my cut goes right to the pencil line but doesn't touch the pencil line. Then I'm going to do that and put about every 1/2 of an inch. So we have all of our relief cuts in there. Now it's time to start cutting around and let those parts fall out. Start on either the left or the right and work towards the middle. Once you get to the middle, you're going to start on the other side and work the other way to the middle. Keep your hands on both corners. Your hands shouldn't be up in front of the blade. They should be back here. You're going to start cutting in. You're going to stay off of the pencil line. You're steering from the corners. Once you get to the middle, don't worry about those pieces. Those are not worth cutting your fingers for. You can push them out of the way with the board. The board will push them out of the way when you continue to cut. You're going to cut that off like that. Don't worry about those pieces. Push them out of the way. There's a strap in over here if you want to push them out of the way with that. Don't reach your fingers in there while that blade's running. The next thing you can do, you're going to start to cut your mortise. Remember, there's a pattern in the way that you want to cut your mortise. So you want to make sure that you cut it so that those pieces fall out. You're going to cut in straight, leaving the pencil line. Don't cut the pencil line. As you can see, I cut down both sides of the pencil line, but I left the pencil line. The pencil lines are still on the outside. Cut from corner to corner. That piece falls out. Now you have the other triangle to get rid of. Now you have a mountain peak in the middle that you want to get rid of, so all you want to do for that, put it in there and work back and forth very easily. All you're doing is using the front teeth of the bandsaw as a sander. And as you can see, if you zoom in on this, the pencil line is left all the way around it. Now, anytime you leave the bandsaw, you need to make sure that you go to either a sander or a file. We're going to start off over at the edge sander, and we're going to use the end of it to sand our semicircle. We'll walk over to the edge sander. Remember to turn the sander on. There's a toggle switch on the right hand side. There's a green start button here. You push up on the toggle switch and you press in on the green start button. When you sand this, let me get this wrapped around, there we go. When you sand this, you're trying to sand right to the pencil line. So you want to go like this here. Don't push too hard. That's a piece of 60 grit sandpaper. It doesn't take a whole lot to get it sanded. And when you're said and done, that's going to smooth that entire thing out. So it should look like that right there. The next thing you're going to do, shut your sander off. You're going to go over to a file. So let's go grab a file and we're going to put this in the vise. So you're going to take this here, we're going to put this in the vise, like so. Loosen your vise. Hang your mortise out over the edge so that you can file it. You're going to take this here, you're going to tighten your vise. You're going to grab your other leg. The other leg has to fit inside of here. Right now, because I left the pencil line, it doesn't. So I need to file that just a little bit. So I'm going to take my file. If you can see, I'm holding the file nice and straight. I'm not rocking the file back and forth like this. I'm holding it nice and straight so that it keeps that cut nice and straight. The other thing you want to remember is there's teeth on the edge of the file. If you push real hard in towards the mortise, you're going to cut this out and you're going to put a big indentation in here. So keep your file nice and straight. Turn your board over. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Test your board. I think we're okay. We're just about there. Okay, it needs a wee little bit more. It's starting in, but it's not burying itself. Now listen, if you beat this in there right now, if you beat this board inside of this board, this is going to split like a piece of firewood. So don't beat the board in there. Do a little more file work. Try it again. There it is. So you're going to squeeze that in there. As you can see, that buries all the way down in there like so. Now it's time to cut the dado inside of the top of the seat. So we're going to grab our seat, which is over here. What we're trying to do is to cut in between those two lines, and so that it accepts the leg. So when you go back to the radial arm saw, make sure you take your legs with you. We're going to go back to the radial arm saw. I will have this preset for you so that you don't end up cutting through your board. Just remember though, if there's a class before yours, make sure that the radial arm saw is set up to actually cut not through your board, but only partial the way through your board. So what I want to do, I'm going to take my footstool, I'm going to put it over here, and what you need to do prior to turning the saw on is to pull the saw out and make sure, let's see if we can show this to you here, that blade is actually going to be up so that it doesn't cut through the board. Right now, that blade is going to cut through the board. So we need to raise that a little bit. To do that, I'm going to turn this wheel. There we go. There we have it. So now, if you look at it, that blade is set up so that it doesn't cut through the board. If you look at that blade, it's not going to go all the way through the board. It's only going to go part of the way through the board. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to start to cut this dado out. Let me zoom in on it so you can see what's going on. There we go. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to cut on the right side of the line, leaving the pencil line. You want to move it over a little bit each time, about 1/8 of an inch. When you get close, you want to grab your leg. So right now, I left the pencil line. You want to grab your leg. You want to stick it in there. Your leg, that's just perfect. When you do that, you want your leg so that it doesn't fall out. It shouldn't wobble around. It should be tight in there. Then you can do the other side. So you're going to take this out. We're going to start over here. Remember, go slow with the radial arm saw. Test your fit. Take your leg, put it in. I'm still a little bit off, so I'm going to try again. Test your fit again. Almost there. Take a wee little bit. And that should do it. There we go. So when you pick up on this, it shouldn't fall out. So now, if you look at this, I still have to cut. Whoops, let's zoom back out. Okay, so now I got one leg, I got my other leg, okay, and let's take a look. Whoops. Let me do something here. There we go. All right, so we got our two legs. Now I obviously still have to cut the semicircle and the mortise in this one, but if you look over here, the semicircle and the mortise is in that one. They fit inside of the dado. That's what they should fit like. And let's go like this here so you can see the whole picture. And that's it. So the next video is going to be on how to lay out or how to set up the router, put a router bit in, and actually route a decorative edge on the edge of your board.